Don't touch anything. Your kind leaves stains. Lisa Hartwell grabbed Maya Washington's hand mid-reach, yanking it away from the marble counter. The platinum credit cards scattered across the floor like worthless plastic. You people think money makes you equal to us? Lisa's voice sliced through the Grand Meridian's lobby. Her grip tightened, fingernails digging into Maya's wrist. This establishment has standards. Maya's jaw clenched, but she didn't pull away. Around them, guests in $1,000 suits watched the spectacle unfold. Emma Rodriguez started recording, her finger trembling on the screen. "Ma'am, please let go of my arm." Maya's voice remained steady, but fire burned behind her dark eyes. Lisa released her with a disgusted shove. "Security will escort you out, through the service entrance where you belong." Maya straightened her simple white blouse, something calculating flickering across her face. Have you ever watched someone destroy themselves without knowing it? 2:47 p.m., 13 minutes until the board meeting. Maya's Cartier watch glinted as she checked the time. Upstairs in conference room A, 23 executives sat waiting. She had exactly 13 minutes to complete her mission. "Your reservation doesn't exist in our system." Lisa's manicured fingers danced across the keyboard with exaggerated precision. "I've searched multiple times. Nothing under Washington anywhere." Maya placed her iPhone on the marble counter, the confirmation email crystal clear on the screen. Reservation hash GH847291. Presidential suite. Payment confirmed. $2,847 per night. Lisa barely glanced at the device. "Anyone can Photoshop those emails. Do you have legitimate identification proving you can afford accommodations here?" "You threw my credit card on the floor, because it's clearly fraudulent." Lisa's voice carried across the lobby, drawing curious stares from nearby guests. "Brad, we need management assistance immediately." Assistant manager Brad Carter emerged from behind frosted glass doors, his MBA confidence radiating authority. 26 years old, with perfectly styled hair and a crisp navy suit, he approached like a general inspecting troops. "What's the situation, Lisa?" "This individual is attempting to use fake documentation to access our presidential suite." Lisa gestured at Maya as if she were evidence in a crime scene. "The credit card appears suspicious as well." Maya bent gracefully to retrieve her platinum American Express from the floor. The card's distinctive black metal caught the chandelier light. "I'd like to speak with your general manager." Brad's smile was corporate perfection wrapped in condescension. "Ma'am, I can resolve this efficiently. If you're seeking employment opportunities, our Human Resources Department operates from the 3rd floor between 9 and 4. "I'm not looking for work." "Then you're definitely in the wrong establishment." His voice hardened like concrete. "The Grand Meridian caters to a very exclusive clientele with very specific expectations." Maya moved toward the plush seating area near the lobby's center. Before she could sit, a uniformed attendant materialized beside her. "Excuse me, ma'am. Those chairs are reserved exclusively for registered hotel guests." Maya gestured toward 3 white businessmen occupying identical furniture nearby, their laptops open, coffee cups scattered across marble side tables. "Are those gentlemen registered guests?" The attendant's face flushed pink. "Sir, they have confirmed business meetings in our conference facilities." "I see." Maya approached the mahogany concierge desk where a silver-haired man in wire-rimmed glasses suddenly developed intense fascination with his computer monitor, completely ignoring her presence despite making eye contact moments earlier. She attempted to connect to the hotel's complimentary Wi-Fi network. Password required for guest access. "Excuse me?" Maya addressed the same attendant. "Could you provide the wireless internet password?" "That service is exclusively available to confirmed paying guests with valid room assignments. I am a confirmed paying guest. According to our current records, that information is disputed." 2:50 p.m. 10 minutes remaining. Maya's phone vibrated insistently against her palm. Goldman Sachs Private Wealth Management illuminated the screen. She declined the call, noting Brad speaking urgently into his two-way radio across the lobby. The hotel's acclaimed restaurant, Meridian, beckoned through floor-to-ceiling windows. Maya approached the hostess podium where a statuesque blonde woman smiled radiantly until she registered Maya's approach. "Good afternoon. I'd like a table for one, please." "I'm terribly sorry, but we're completely booked for the remainder of the afternoon." The hostess never consulted her reservation system or checked availability. Maya glanced through the restaurant's windows. Approximately half the linen-covered tables sat unoccupied, pristine place settings waiting for guests. What about bar seating? Our beverage service requires valid room key verification from confirmed hotel reservations. I have a room key, a legitimate room key from a verified paid reservation that exists in our active guest registry. Basic biological necessity demanded accommodation. Maya walked toward the elegant ladies' restroom adjacent to the restaurant entrance. The same uniformed attendant who had denied her seating suddenly produced a yellow maintenance placard, blocking the door. "Sorry, ma'am. Deep cleaning in progress. Could take several hours to complete." A woman in a cream-colored Chanel suit brushed past Maya and entered the restroom without acknowledgement. The attendant made no attempt to stop her. Maya's eyes locked with his. "How long did you say the cleaning would take?" "Hard to estimate. Thorough sanitization requires extensive time. There's a public facility approximately 4 blocks east on King Street, 2:52 p.m., 8 minutes until everything changes." Emma Rodriguez had repositioned herself closer to the unfolding drama, smartphone capturing every interaction. Her Instagram Live showed 2,134 viewers and climbing rapidly. Comments cascaded across her screen. "This is absolutely disgusting behavior. Someone needs to call the local news stations. She's handling this with incredible grace while they're treating her like absolute garbage. Where is this hotel? They need to be exposed." Maya stood isolated in the center of the opulent lobby, surrounded by services she legally possessed every right to access, yet denied even basic human courtesy. Her leather portfolio contained documentation capable of ending careers, but patience remained essential. The performance required completion. Brad approached, flanked by 2 additional security personnel, their black uniforms creating an intimidating triangle around Maya. "Ma'am, I'm officially requesting your immediate departure from these premises. I haven't violated any laws or hotel policies. Your continued presence is creating disturbances for our legitimate guests and disrupting normal business operations." Maya surveyed the lobby. Every guest was now openly staring, many recording video on their devices. Some appeared genuinely uncomfortable witnessing the spectacle. Others whispered behind designer handbags with apparent entertainment. "Which specific guests am I disturbing?" "All of them." Brad's voice carried absolute moral certainty. "Your presence in this establishment is fundamentally inappropriate and unwelcome. May I use a house phone to contact transportation? Our telephone systems are restricted to registered guest services exclusively. I need to reach my husband." "Use your personal cellular device. The signal strength is inadequate inside this building." Brad shrugged with practiced indifference. "That's unfortunate, but not the hotel's responsibility to resolve it." Maya's phone buzzed again. Board Chairman Peterson flashed on the display. She allowed it to transfer to voicemail, watching Brad's satisfied smirk. 2:55 p.m., 5 minutes until Revelation Head of Security Jake Morrison arrived like a storm front. 6 feet 4 inches of professionally trained intimidation, his pressed uniform adorned with radio equipment and the subtle bulge of security tools. His mere presence seemed to lower the lobby's temperature. "Ma'am, you will exit this property immediately or face trespassing charges." Maya's voice remained perfectly controlled. "I'm a paying customer with a legally confirmed reservation." "Negative. You're an individual attempting to fraudulently access private property." Morrison's hand moved deliberately toward his radio. "You have exactly 30 seconds to comply voluntarily before we initiate forced removal procedures." The entire lobby suspended in crystalline silence. Even ambient background music seemed to pause in anticipation. Emma's live stream exploded to 5,247 viewers. The hashtag #HashHotelDiscrimination began trending citywide across multiple platforms. Maya checked her watch one final time, 2:57 p.m., 3 minutes until the most expensive customer service catastrophe in hospitality industry history. 3 minutes until every person in this marble palace discovered they had just participated in their own professional destruction, but none of them knew that yet. The best revelations always come from those who appear to have the least power. 2:57 p.m. 3 minutes until the meeting that will redefine everything. General Manager Sarah Carter descended the marble staircase like royalty claiming her throne. 15 years at the Grand Meridian had taught her that authority was best displayed through calculated intimidation. Her charcoal Armani suit and silver hair commanded immediate attention. "What exactly is happening in my lobby?" Her voice cut through the tension like crystal breaking. Brad straightened his posture. "Ma'am, we have an individual refusing to leave after being informed she has no valid reservation. She's becoming increasingly disruptive to our guests." Sarah's cold eyes assessed Maya from head to toe, cataloging every detail of her simple attire. "I see. And you've verified our guest registry thoroughly?" "Multiple times. Nothing exists under Washington." Maya stepped forward, her voice remaining steady despite the growing crowd. "Miss Carter, I presume? I have confirmation number GH847291 for your presidential suite. Perhaps your staff requires additional training on your reservation system?" Sarah's laugh was winter ice. "A young lady, I've been managing luxury hospitality for longer than you've likely been employed anywhere. Our systems don't make mistakes. People do." A silver Bentley Mulsanne pulled up to the hotel's entrance, its driver stepping out to open the rear door. Maya recognized her vehicle immediately. "Excuse me," she called to the valet supervisor. "That's my car. Could you please ask the driver to wait?" The supervisor, a thin man with nervous energy, glanced at Sarah before responding. "Ma'am, that vehicle belongs to one of our VIP guests. You must be mistaken." Maya pulled out her key fob, pressing the unlock button. The Bentley's lights flashed twice in response. The valet supervisor's face was drained of color. That could be a coincidence. Key fobs sometimes interfere with each other. "Call my driver then, Marcus Thompson. He's been with our family for 8 years. We don't provide communication services for non-guests." Marcus, a distinguished African-American man in his 50s, stepped out of the driver's seat. His eyes found Maya through the glass doors, confusion crossing his features as he noticed the crowd surrounding her. 2:58 p.m., 2 minutes until everything changes. Sarah Carter positioned herself directly in front of Maya, creating a physical barrier. "Miss, I'm going to be very clear. You have 60 seconds to exit this property voluntarily, or we will have Charleston police remove you for criminal trespassing. You're threatening to arrest me for standing in a hotel lobby? I'm offering you one final opportunity to leave with whatever dignity you have remaining." Morrison's radio crackled. "Units 247 and 351 respond to Grand Meridian Hotel for possible trespassing and disorderly conduct." Emma's live stream had exploded to 8,934 viewers. Her hands trembled as she held her phone steady, narrating in real time. "Guys, they're literally calling the police on this woman for existing while black in their lobby. She hasn't done anything except try to check into her reservation." Comments flooded the screen faster than Emma could read them. "This is 2024 and this is happening? What hotel is this? They need to be boycotted immediately. She's handling this better than I ever could. Someone please tell me this is fake." Maya's iPhone buzzed again. Board Chairman Peterson, urgent, flashed on the display. This time she answered. "Maya, where are you? The shareholders are getting restless and—" Morrison snatched the phone from Maya's hand before she could respond. "Ma'am, you're not permitted to conduct business calls on these premises." "That's my personal property. Return it immediately. Not until you exit the building." Morrison held the device above Maya's reach, his 6'4" frame making retrieval impossible. Maya's composed facade cracked slightly. "You have no legal authority to confiscate my personal belongings." "I have authority to maintain order on private property," Morrison replied, sliding her phone into his jacket pocket. Sarah Carter gestured to a nearby server carrying a tray of crystal water glasses for arriving guests. "Bring that here." The young server, clearly uncomfortable with the situation, approached hesitantly. "This woman appears overheated from her agitation," Sarah announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Perhaps some cooling down would help her think more clearly." Before Maya could react, Sarah lifted a glass and deliberately poured ice water down the front of Maya's white blouse. The frigid liquid soaked through the fabric instantly, causing Maya to gasp from the shock. The lobby erupted in horrified murmurs. Several guests pulled out their phones, recording the assault. Emma's live stream viewer count spiked to 12,847 as she captured the water cascading down Maya's chest. "You just assaulted me," Maya said quietly, water dripping from her clothing onto the marble floor. "I provided refreshment to an obviously disturbed individual," Sarah replied with manufactured concern. "Perhaps that will help you understand the gravity of your situation." Maya stood perfectly still, refusing to show weakness despite her soaked clothing clinging uncomfortably to her skin. Water pooled at her feet, but her dignity remained intact. 2:59 p.m., 1 minute until Revelation Marcus had entered the lobby, his chauffeur's uniform commanding respect from staff who assumed he worked for a wealthy guest. His eyes widened when he saw Maya's condition. "Ma'am, are you all right? What happened to your—" "Sir, please don't interfere with hotel security procedures," Morrison interrupted, stepping between Marcus and Maya. Marcus's confusion was evident. "Security procedures? That's Mrs. Washington. I've been driving her to board meetings for years." Brad laughed dismissively. "Right, and I suppose you're telling us she's some kind of business executive." "She's the CEO of Washington Hospitality Group," Marcus replied matter-of-factly. The lobby fell silent. Even Sarah Carter's confident expression wavered slightly. Morrison scoffed. "Sure she is. And I'm the King of England." Sarah's voice rose to address the entire lobby. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this disruption to your afternoon. We're dealing with an individual who appears to be experiencing some form of mental health crisis, possibly involving delusions of grandeur." Maya's jaw tightened. Her wet blouse clung uncomfortably to her skin, but her eyes burned with controlled fury. "She's been claiming to own hotel reservations, attempting to impersonate wealthy guests, and now apparently believes she's a corporate executive," Sarah continued. "We've contacted appropriate authorities to ensure she receives proper assistance." Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Emma's live stream had reached 15,332 viewers, with comments streaming faster than anyone could read. "This is the most racist thing I've ever seen. Sue them for everything they have. Someone needs to identify this hotel chain. That manager should be in prison." Maya reached into her leather portfolio with deliberate slowness. Every eye in the lobby focused on her movements. "Miss Carter," Maya said quietly, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. "Before those police officers arrive, you might want to reconsider your position." Sarah laughed triumphantly. "Are you threatening me now? Perfect. That's additional charges." Maya's watch read exactly 3 p.m. The board meeting had officially begun upstairs. 23 executives were probably wondering where their CEO had disappeared to. Maya smiled for the first time since entering the lobby. It wasn't a pleasant expression. "Miss Carter," she said, her voice barely above a whisper but somehow audible to everyone present. "I think you're about to learn something very important about assumptions." The leather portfolio opened with a soft whisper. Everything was about to change. 3 p.m. The moment everything changes, Maya's fingers moved with surgical precision as she extracted a manila folder from her leather portfolio. The wet fabric of her blouse clung uncomfortably to her skin, but her movements remained controlled, deliberate. Water still dripped from her clothing onto the pristine marble floor. "Before we continue this performance," Maya said quietly, her voice carrying a new edge that made several people step closer, "I think proper introductions are in order." Sarah Carter crossed her arms, her confidence unwavering despite the growing crowd of witnesses. "The police will handle introductions when they arrest you for trespassing and assault on hotel property." Maya placed the first document on the marble counter with the gentleness of someone handling explosives. The corporate letterhead gleamed under the chandelier lights. "Washington Hospitality Group, Corporate Headquarters." Lisa glanced at the paper and rolled her eyes dramatically. "Anyone with a computer can print fake letterhead these days." "You're absolutely right," Maya agreed, sliding a second document alongside the first. This one bore official state seals, embossed stamps, and watermark security features. "Certificate of Majority Ownership, Grand Meridian Hotel Chain." The name at the bottom, signed in elegant script, Maya Elizabeth Washington, Chief Executive Officer. Brad's face went white as freshly fallen snow. That's not possible. This has to be some kind of elaborate hoax." Maya's smile was winter ice with razor edges. "Mr. Carter, would you mind reading the ownership percentage aloud for everyone in this lobby to hear?" Brad's hands trembled violently as he lifted the document. His voice cracked like thin ice as he read, 73% controlling interest in Grand Meridian Hotels acquired March 15, 2024 for $3.7 billion. The lobby fell into cathedral silence. Even the background music seemed to pause in shock. Emma's live stream exploded with comments, the viewer count climbing past 24,000. She owns the entire hotel chain? Oh my God, this is insane. Plot twist of the century. They are also fired. I can't believe what I'm watching. Morrison's hand moved instinctively toward his radio, then froze mid-motion as if paralyzed. His 6'4" frame seemed to shrink into itself as the implications crashed over him like a tsunami. Sarah Carter's mouth opened and closed repeatedly like a fish gasping for air on dry land. This has to be some kind of elaborate fraud. There's no way. Maya reached into her portfolio again, this time producing her corporate identification card. The holographic security features caught the light as she placed it next to the ownership documents. Her photo, title, employee number, and corporate seal were clearly visible to everyone crowding around the reception desk. Would you like to verify this information with corporate headquarters? Maya asked conversationally, as if discussing the weather. I believe you have the main number memorized. Though I should mention, the executives you'd be calling are currently upstairs in conference room A, wondering where their CEO disappeared to. Lisa's legs gave out completely. She collapsed into her chair behind the reception desk, staring at the documents as if they might spontaneously combust and release her from this nightmare. Marcus stepped forward, his earlier confusion clearing into perfect understanding. Mrs. Washington, should I inform the board members that you've been delayed by this situation? Maya checked her water-damaged watch, wiping moisture from the crystal face. Actually, Marcus, I think it's time we brought the entire board downstairs. They'll want to witness this evidence firsthand. Brad Carter's MBA training kicked in as shock gave way to desperate damage control mode. Ma'am, if you are indeed who these documents suggest, there must be some reasonable explanation for this terrible misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Maya's voice remained dangerously quiet, each word precisely enunciated. Mr. Carter, let me clarify exactly what occurred here today. Your reception staff denied service to the owner of this hotel chain. Your manager physically assaulted me with ice water. Your security chief illegally confiscated my personal property, and you called the police to arrest me for trespassing on property that I legally own. Morrison fumbled desperately in his jacket pocket, retrieving Maya's phone with hands shaking like autumn leaves. Ma'am, I was just following standard security protocol for unregistered individuals. Whose protocol exactly? Maya accepted her phone, noting 21 missed calls from the board chairman and 14 text messages marked urgent. Show me the company policy manual that authorizes denying basic services based purely on customer appearance. Sarah Carter found her voice, though it emerged as a strangled whisper, barely audible above the lobby's tension. Mrs. Washington, if you'll please allow me to explain our position. Miss Carter, Maya interrupted, her tone cutting through the acoustics like a surgical blade. I've been personally documenting discrimination complaints across our entire hotel chain for 6 months. 34 incidents of bias-based service denial, 17 cases of obvious racial profiling, 8 instances of physical intimidation against minority customers. She gestured elegantly toward Emma's phone, still streaming live to thousands of increasingly outraged viewers. Today, I finally obtained the comprehensive evidence our legal team required. Maya pulled out her phone, scrolling methodically to a voice memo app. This morning's emergency board meeting was specifically scheduled to address systematic discrimination throughout our hospitality operations. I told the executives I had compelling evidence, but needed one final irrefutable data point. She pressed play with theatrical timing. Her own voice filled the lobby through the phone's speaker, clear and professional. Board Chairman Peterson, this is Maya Washington at 7:43 a.m. I'm conducting the final phase of our comprehensive discrimination audit at the Grand Meridian Charleston location. If my hypothesis proves correct, I should experience multiple service denials within the first hour of arrival. I'll document everything meticulously for our 3 o'clock emergency presentation to shareholders. Emma's livestream chat exploded with sudden realization. She planned this entire operation. CEO goes undercover to expose racism. Brilliant corporate investigation. They walk straight into her trap. This is better than any movie. Maya continued with scientific precision. What you've provided today is absolutely perfect evidence for our upcoming federal lawsuit against systematic discrimination in the hospitality industry. Every interaction was recorded, witnessed by multiple parties, and live-streamed to thousands of people across social media platforms. Marcus spoke quietly into his phone. Yes, Mr. Peterson. Mrs. Washington is ready for the board now. Please bring all 23 executives down to the main lobby immediately. Yes, sir, the main lobby. You'll understand when you arrive. Sarah Carter's face had progressed from white to green to an alarming shade of gray. Mrs. Washington, please understand, we had absolutely no way of knowing your true identity. Miss Carter, that's precisely the fundamental problem we're addressing today. You had no way of knowing because your staff consistently makes assumptions based on customer appearance, rather than treating every human being who enters this establishment with basic dignity and professional respect. The elevator chimed softly, its brass doors opening to reveal 23 executives in expensive suits emerging like a corporate army. Led by Board Chairman Peterson, a distinguished man in his 60s with silver hair and commanding presence, their faces registered immediate shock as they absorbed the scene. Maya's water-soaked clothing, official documents spread across the reception desk, the crowd of witnesses filming everything, and the obvious distress of the hotel staff. Maya, Peterson said carefully, his voice carrying decades of executive authority. Are you physically all right? What exactly transpired down here? Gentlemen, ladies of the board, Maya addressed the executives while maintaining eye contact with the hotel staff. Please meet the perfect case study for our discrimination prevention initiative. Morrison, Brad, Lisa, and Sarah stood frozen in place as the reality of their situation crystallized with devastating clarity. The woman they'd systematically humiliated, denied basic services, and physically assaulted wasn't just another customer they could dismiss. She was their ultimate boss. She owned the building they worked in. She controlled their paychecks, their benefits, their professional futures, their very livelihoods. And they had just provided her with irrefutable evidence of everything the company was desperately trying to eliminate. Maya addressed the board while keeping her unwavering gaze fixed on the trembling staff. As you can clearly observe, our discrimination problem isn't merely isolated to customer complaints filed through proper channels. It's deeply embedded in our fundamental operational culture and daily practices. Emma's live stream had reached 35,219 viewers. The hashtag #CEOGoesUndercover was trending nationally across all major social media platforms. Maya straightened her water-stained blouse with unshakable dignity, completely intact. Now then, shall we discuss comprehensive solutions to transform this industry? The board meeting was about to commence, but it wouldn't be happening in the sterile environment of Conference Room A. It would be happening right here, in front of thousands of witnesses, with the evidence still dripping from Maya's clothes, and the proof of systematic discrimination spread across the marble counter for everyone to see. The most expensive customer service failure in hospitality history was about to become the most transformative moment in corporate accountability, and the entire world would be watching every second unfold in real time. 3:03 p.m., the boardroom comes to the lobby. Board Chairman Peterson surveyed the scene with the calculating gaze of someone who'd navigated corporate crises for 30 years. His silver hair caught the chandelier light as he moved between the executives, assessing the damage. His eyes took in Maya's water-stained clothing, the trembling hotel staff, and Emma's phone broadcasting live to 39,247 viewers and climbing rapidly. Maya, before we proceed with any official discussions, do you require medical attention or a change of clothing? Peterson's voice carried the careful tone of someone who understood legal liability. Maya's smile was sharp as broken glass, cutting through the tension. Thank you, James, but I think my current appearance serves our purposes perfectly. Consider it evidence of corporate culture in action. Peterson nodded grimly, his decades of experience recognizing a defining moment when he saw one. He turned to address the hotel staff with ice-cold authority that could freeze hellfire. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now participating in an emergency board meeting of Washington Hospitality Group. Everything you say from this moment forward will be recorded and may be used in legal proceedings against both you personally and this company. Sarah Carter's knees visibly buckled as the weight of his words hit her. Legal proceedings? Against us, personally? Miss Carter? Peterson continued with prosecutorial precision. When employees act outside company policy and federal law, they become personally liable for their actions. Corporate protection doesn't cover criminal behavior. Maya retrieved her tablet from her leather portfolio, the device somehow undamaged despite Sarah's water assault. She connected it wirelessly to the lobby's wall-mounted display screen, her movements precise and professional despite her soaked clothing. Board members, please direct your attention to Slide 1. The massive display illuminated with stark financial data that made several executives audibly gasp. The Grand Meridian Charleston generates $1.3 million in daily revenue. Today's incident has already cost our company $4.2 million in immediate brand damage, and that number increases every minute. The numbers glowed accusingly on the screen in corporate red. Immediate impact analysis. Real time. Asterisk. Social media. Reach. 1,247,000 negative mentions in 3.5 hours. Asterisk. Stock price. Down 11.2% since Livestream began trending. Asterisk. Booking cancellations. 387 reservations canceled. $1. 8M revenue lost. Asterisk. Corporate account suspensions. 17 major clients reviewing contracts worth $23 million. Asterisk. Legal exposure. $35 million potential discrimination lawsuit. Increasing hourly. Asterisk. Insurance claims. 12 liability policies being reviewed for coverage. Brad Carter stared at the display in absolute horror, his face draining of color completely. Those numbers, they can't possibly be accurate. This happened less than an hour ago. Maya advanced to the next slide with clinical efficiency. Mr. Carter, these figures update in real time through our corporate analytics system connected to social media monitoring, stock market feeds, and reservation databases. Would you like to see the trending hashtags driving this crisis? The screen filled with devastating social media metrics. Hash hotel discrimination, 378,291 posts, growing by 847 per minute. Hash racist hotel, 234,156 posts. Trending in 23 countries. Hash boycott Grand Meridian, 156,892 posts. Celebrity endorsements. Hash CEO goes undercover, 623,445 posts. International news coverage. Hash Washington hotels, 89,234 posts. Mostly negative sentiment. Sweet Jesus, whispered board member Patricia Hawkins, the company's chief financial officer, her voice barely audible above the lobby's tension. The damage is spreading exponentially across every platform. We're looking at complete brand destruction. Emma's live stream viewer count had exploded to 47,683 people watching from around the world. Comments flooded her screen faster than anyone could read. This is corporate accountability in real time. Every hotel chain needs to watch this. The CEO is handling this perfectly. Those employees are done for. Maya clicked methodically to Slide 3, revealing a comprehensive pattern analysis that painted an even darker picture. Distinguished board members, today's incident represents far more than isolated poor judgment. Our 6-month internal investigation identified systematic discrimination embedded throughout our hotel operations across 17 different locations. The data displayed was absolutely devastating to witness. Comprehensive discrimination audit results. Asterisk, total incidents. Documented, 126 confirmed cases across the chain. Asterisk, racial profiling incidents. 45 documented instances with video evidence. Asterisk, service denial based on appearance. 38 cases. Multiple witnesses. Asterisk, physical intimidation assault. 21 documented attacks on minority guests. Asterisk, staff training failures. 92% failed basic sensitivity assessments. Asterisk, customer complaints. Systematically ignored. 234 filed. Only 7 investigated. Asterisk, management cover-ups. 23 incidents buried without action. Morrison's face had turned an alarming shade of gray as he realized the scope of the investigation. Ma'am, I was never properly trained on any sensitivity protocols or discrimination prevention. Mr. Morrison, interrupted board member David Kim, the company's general counsel and Harvard Law graduate, his voice cutting through the air like a scalpel. I strongly advise you to remain completely silent. Everything you say is being recorded and live-streamed to thousands of witnesses. You're creating evidence against yourself." Maya's voice cut through the tension with surgical precision. "Mr. Morrison, your employment file clearly shows you attended mandatory diversity training sessions 3 separate times in the past 2 years. You signed completion certificates each time, promising adherence to our non-discrimination policies." She clicked to display Morrison's training records on the massive screen. His signature was clearly visible on 3 separate documents, each one promising to treat all guests with equal dignity and respect, regardless of race, gender, or perceived economic status. General Counsel Kim stepped forward, his Harvard law degree evident in every precisely chosen word. "For the official record and legal documentation, today's incidents constitute multiple serious federal violations. Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title II, Public Accommodations. South Carolina Human Rights Act, Section January 13, 80. Americans with Disabilities Act compliance failures. Our own corporate policy manual, Section 4.7, Zero Tolerance Discrimination Policy." Sarah Carter's voice cracked like thin ice under pressure. "We didn't know she was the owner of the hotel." "Miss Carter," Kim interrupted sharply, his prosecutorial instincts taking over. "That statement just constituted a full admission of guilt. You're acknowledging that you would have treated her differently based on perceived economic status or social position. That's precisely the type of discrimination we're legally obligated to prevent." Maya advanced to her comprehensive legal analysis slide. The financial exposure numbers were absolutely staggering. Complete legal liability assessment. Asterisk federal civil rights violations $750K $3M per documented incident asterisk. State discrimination penalties $100K $750K per individual violation asterisk. Punitive damages for systematic patterns $15M $50M corporate exposure asterisk class action lawsuit. Exposure $200M plus if other victims join litigation asterisk criminal assault charges. Miss Carter's water attack documented on video asterisk personal liability. Individual staff members face criminal prosecution asterisk EEOC investigation. Federal investigation now inevitable. Board Chairman Peterson's phone buzzed constantly with urgent calls from major institutional investors. "Maya, we're receiving immediate pressure from Blackstone, Vanguard, CalPERS, and 12 other major funds. They're questioning our ESG compliance ratings and threatening massive divestments." Maya nodded grimly, having anticipated this corporate earthquake. "James, please direct everyone's attention to Slide 6 for the complete shareholder impact analysis." The display revealed catastrophic investor relations damage, institutional investor crisis metrics, asterisk ESG rating, collapsed from A+ to D in 4 hours, industry worst decline, asterisk institutional investor concerns, 31 major funds reviewing positions worth $12 billion asterisk, share price volatility, 15% downward swing, trading halted 3 times asterisk pension fund divestments. $4.7 billion under immediate review for removal asterisk insurance. Premium increases. 450% increase for liability coverage asterisk credit rating review. Moody's and S&P considering downgrades asterisk bond market. Impact. Corporate bonds down 8%. Refinancing costs skyrocketing. "This is an absolute corporate nightmare," muttered board member Rebecca Torres, head of risk management, her voice barely steady. "We're witnessing complete reputational collapse in real time. This could destroy the entire company." Maya's voice carried the weight of absolute corporate authority as she addressed the 4 trembling staff members. "Miss Carter, Mr. Morrison, Mr. Carter, Miss Hartwell, you now face 2 distinct choices that will determine your personal and professional futures. Option 1. Immediate termination with cause, forfeiture of all benefits, permanent industry blacklisting, and personal legal exposure for civil rights violations." The 4 staff members stood completely paralyzed with terror, understanding that their lives were about to change forever. Option 2. You become the public face of our company's complete transformation. You participate fully in our new discrimination prevention program, undergo intensive retraining under media scrutiny, and help us develop industry-leading protocols to prevent this from ever happening again at any hotel anywhere. Sarah Carter found her voice, though it emerged as a desperate whisper. "What exactly would that second option involve? What would be required of us? Maya clicked to her comprehensive reform proposal slide. Complete personal and professional restructuring, Miss Carter. You would transition from general manager to chief diversity compliance officer, accepting a 60% salary reduction and submitting to quarterly performance reviews based exclusively on inclusion metrics and bias elimination. Chief Technology Officer Michael Zhang stepped forward, his tablet already displaying system specifications. Maya, we can implement the AI-powered bias detection system immediately across all properties. Facial recognition cameras analyzing staff behavior patterns, real-time alerts for discriminatory interactions, customer feedback integration, and predictive modeling to prevent incidents before they occur. Maya nodded approvingly. Excellent work, Michael. Mr. Morrison, as head of security, you would personally oversee implementation of our revolutionary Dignity First protocol system. Every single guest interaction would be monitored, recorded, and scored for potential bias indicators. Morrison's voice was barely audible above the lobby's tension. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely whatever you require to make this right. The comprehensive system would track eye contact duration patterns, voice tone analysis comparing interactions with different racial groups, response time variations based on customer appearance factors, and service quality disparities that indicate unconscious bias. Any discrimination triggers would result in immediate intervention and mandatory retraining. Board Chairman Peterson stepped forward to address Emma's live stream directly, speaking to the 54,892 viewers now watching from around the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, witnessing this historic moment, Washington Hospitality Group commits today to becoming the absolute industry leader in hospitality inclusion and bias elimination. We will publish detailed quarterly transparency reports, submit to independent third-party audits, and create a 24-hour customer advocacy hotline. Maya added with conviction, every employee across every property will undergo monthly bias training with documented results. Every customer interaction will be monitored for quality and respect indicators. Every discrimination complaint will be investigated within 72 hours with complete public reporting of outcomes and corrective actions taken. The transformation of an entire industry was beginning in a hotel lobby broadcast live to the world. 3:51 p.m. The transformation begins. Maya's wet blouse had begun to dry, but the stains remained as permanent evidence of corporate failure. She stood before the assembled group like a general addressing troops after victory, her dignity intact despite the physical assault she'd endured. The immediate personnel decisions are non-negotiable, Maya announced, her voice carrying across the lobby to Emma's 61,247 live stream viewers. Miss Carter, your termination as general manager is effective immediately. Security will escort you to collect personal belongings under supervision. Sarah Carter's face crumpled. Mrs. Washington, please. However, Maya continued, raising her hand for silence, your employment with Washington Hospitality Group continues in a new capacity. You will become our chief case study officer, documenting your journey from perpetrator to advocate. Your salary drops to $38,000 annually. Your performance reviews depend entirely on bias elimination metrics. The lobby fell silent as the weight of this unusual punishment sank in. Chief Technology Officer Zhang activated his tablet, projecting system specifications onto the wall display. Implementation begins tomorrow morning across all 47 properties. The Dignity Protocol will revolutionize how hospitality operates. Maya walked to the display, pointing to specific technical features. Every guest interaction triggers AI analysis. Camera systems will detect micro-expressions, voice stress patterns, and behavioral inconsistencies that indicate bias. Staff members showing discrimination patterns receive immediate retraining. Morrison shifted nervously. Ma'am, what happens if the system detects bias in my behavior? Mr. Morrison, you'll discover that tomorrow. But understand this. 3 bias alerts result in immediate termination. The system doesn't forgive. It doesn't forget. It simply measures behavior against objective standards. CFO Hawkins consulted multiple tablets simultaneously, her fingers flying across financial projections. Maya, the complete overhaul requires significant capital investment. $15 million for technology implementation, $12 million for comprehensive staff retraining, $8 million for legal compliance systems. Patricia, calculate our current crisis costs. Maya advanced to a new slide showing real-time damage assessment. Current crisis financial impact. Asterisk stock market losses. $147 million in market capitalization. Asterisk canceled reservations. $2.3 million in lost revenue. 4 hours. Asterisk corporate client departures. $31 million in annual contracts under review. Asterisk legal preparation costs. $4.2 million for discrimination defense asterisk insurance. Premium increases. $6.8 million annually asterisk brand rehabilitation. $50 million estimated marketing recovery. The reform program costs $35 million. Maya continued. Our current crisis will cost us over $200 million. The choice is obvious. Board member Torres nodded grimly. Maya's right. We either invest in solutions or face corporate bankruptcy within 2 years. Zhang demonstrated the bias detection system on his tablet. Real-time monitoring begins immediately. Watch this simulation. The display showed a hotel interaction scenario. AI analysis appeared as colored overlays: green for positive interactions, yellow for neutral, red for concerning bias indicators. Voice pattern analysis detects condescension. Facial recognition identifies dismissive expressions. Response time tracking reveals service delays based on customer appearance. The system catches what human oversight misses. Maya addressed the hotel staff directly. You'll wear monitoring devices. Every word, gesture, and expression gets analyzed. Privacy concerns are irrelevant. You forfeited privacy when you chose discrimination. Lisa Hartwell spoke for the first time since the revelation. How long does this monitoring continue? Forever, Maya replied without hesitation. Bias elimination isn't temporary. It's a permanent behavioral change. Board member Dr. Amanda Foster, Chief Human Resources Officer, stepped forward with comprehensive training protocols. We're partnering with Harvard Business School, Stanford's Bias Research Center, and the Equal Justice Initiative. Every employee undergoes 40 hours of initial training, then monthly reinforcement sessions. Sarah Carter raised her trembling hand. What specific training will we receive? Miss Carter, you'll participate in immersive bias recognition therapy, role-playing exercises where you experience discrimination firsthand, psychological evaluation to identify unconscious prejudices, video documentation of your progress for company training materials. Maya's expression softened slightly. Sarah, this isn't punishment, it's rehabilitation. You'll help us train thousands of employees across the industry. Your story becomes our most powerful teaching tool. General Counsel Kim outlined the comprehensive legal structure. Federal compliance monitoring begins immediately. EEOC investigators will conduct monthly audits. Civil rights attorneys will review every discrimination complaint. We're creating legal precedent for hospitality accountability. The legal framework was comprehensive. Washington hospitality. Legal standards, asterisk, zero tolerance policy. Any discrimination triggers immediate investigation, asterisk, victim compensation. Automatic $50,000 payment for verified bias incidents, asterisk, transparency reporting. Public quarterly discrimination audit results, asterisk, independent oversight. Third-party civil rights monitoring, asterisk, criminal prosecution. Company assists in prosecuting employee violations. Morrison looked desperate. What if employees make honest mistakes during this transition? Kim's response was unforgiving. Mr. Morrison, treating customers with basic dignity isn't complicated. There are no honest mistakes in civil rights violations. Maya's phone buzzed with incoming calls from major hotel chains. Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, and Intercontinental are requesting emergency meetings. They want to license our bias detection technology before their own discrimination scandals emerge. Board Chairman Peterson smiled for the first time since arriving. Maya, we could generate $50 million annually licensing this system industry-wide. James, we'll provide it free to any hotel chain willing to submit to public transparency reporting. This isn't about profit, it's about transformation. Emma's live stream comments exploded with approval. This is real leadership. Changing an entire industry. Other companies take notes. Transparency over profit. Dr. Foster outlined comprehensive accountability metrics. Success measurement includes customer satisfaction surveys weighted by demographic data, employee bias assessment scores, incident reduction percentages, and community feedback integration. Maya added, Every property reports monthly bias statistics publicly. Hotels with discrimination incidents lose management bonuses. Properties achieving bias-free status receive substantial financial incentives. Maya turned to address the 4 staff members directly. Your rehabilitation begins with public accountability. Tomorrow, you'll appear on national television discussing today's events. You'll explain how unconscious bias led to conscious discrimination. Sarah Carter's voice broke. Mrs. Washington, I'm terrified of public humiliation. Sarah, you humiliated me publicly. Now you'll be educated publicly. The difference is that your humiliation serves a purpose, preventing others from suffering what I experienced. Maya's expression remained stern but not cruel. You'll visit other hotel properties sharing your story. You'll speak at hospitality conferences. You'll help train managers across the industry. Your failure becomes everyone's education. Peterson addressed the assembled executives. Effective immediately, all property managers report bias incident statistics weekly. Regional directors undergo bias assessment testing. Corporate executives participate in immersive discrimination simulation training. Maya checked her watch. 4:17 p.m. 1 hour and 17 minutes since entering the lobby. 77 minutes that would reshape an entire industry. Ladies and gentlemen, she addressed both the board and the global live stream audience, this is how permanent change occurs. Not through lawsuits that companies can afford to settle. Not through public shaming that fades from memory. Through systematic transformation that makes discrimination impossible to hide and expensive to maintain. Zhang displayed the rapid deployment schedule. Transformation timeline, * week 1. Technology installation at all properties, *. Week 2. Staff bias assessment and initial training, *. Week 3. Customer feedback system activation, *. Week 4. Public transparency reporting begins, * month 2. Industry partnership program launches, * month 3. Independent civil rights audit publication. Maya smiled at Emma's camera. To everyone watching this transformation, you're witnessing the birth of accountable hospitality. Never again will a hotel customer experience what I endured today. The lobby erupted in sustained applause from the gathered guests. Even some hotel staff joined in, their relief palpable as they glimpsed redemption through reform. Maya Washington had transformed the worst day of their professional lives into the first day of industry revolution. But the real work was just beginning. 6 months later, the industry revolution. Maya stood in the same Grand Meridian lobby where her transformation began. But everything had changed. The marble floors gleamed under soft lighting designed to make every guest feel welcome. Digital displays showed real-time bias monitoring scores, customer satisfaction ratings, and transparency reports. Sarah Carter approached with a warm smile, her new role as Chief Case Study Officer evident in her confident bearing. Mrs. Washington, this month's incident report shows 0 discrimination complaints across all 47 properties. Maya nodded approvingly. Sarah, your transformation has been remarkable. How many managers have you trained this quarter? 234, ma'am, from 17 different hotel chains. They all want to hear how someone can change from perpetrator to advocate. The numbers told an extraordinary story of systematic change. Washington hospitality transformation results. * Discrimination. Incidents, reduced by 94% across all properties. * Customer satisfaction, increased 67% among diverse clientele. * Employee retention, up 45% through bias elimination training. * Revenue growth, 23% increase due to inclusive reputation. * Industry adoption, 89 hotel chains implementing similar programs. Emma Rodriguez, now a civil rights documentary filmmaker with 3.4 million followers, visited monthly to document the ongoing transformation. Her original live stream had reached 28.7 million views, becoming required viewing in hospitality management schools worldwide. Maya, Emma said, adjusting her professional camera equipment, your approach has inspired 47 similar undercover investigations by CEOs across different industries. You started a movement. Maya's philosophy had proven prophetic. True power isn't demanding respect, it's creating systems that ensure everyone receives it. The Grand Meridian Charleston had become a pilgrimage site for diversity advocates, business schools, and civil rights organizations. The lobby featured a permanent exhibit documenting that transformative afternoon, with Maya's water-stained blouse preserved as evidence that dignity could triumph over discrimination. The hospitality industry would never be the same, but the work continues in every interaction, every assumption, every moment when someone chooses dignity over prejudice. Share this story if you believe every person deserves equal treatment regardless of appearance. Comment below with your own experiences of discrimination or witnessing bias in public spaces. Your voice matters. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories, proving that quiet strength changes the world more powerfully than loud anger. Remember, the most profound revolutions happen when we choose education over retaliation, when we build systems instead of seeking revenge, and when we prove that treating everyone with dignity isn't just morally right, it's transformational business. Together, we can create a world where no one has to prove their worth to receive basic respect.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.